Crypto Pirates, welcome to your Discourse Syndicate. Captain RG3 steering the ship. Welcome, Hexicans and Hexicants. How you guys doing tonight? Let's take a look at the chat room, see who's in here, who's all the pirate degens. We got Ballot Brand. What's up, Brand? Crypto King, as always, hanging in with us. Thanks again for all the work you do, brother. Johnny No Good. Good to see you, buddy. Premium Hex. Matty Allen, the good thought leader of Hex. Blackwing, welcome. Papa Lava, Cass, Rowlett. Yep, looking forward to this one. We are looking forward to this one. Things are changing around here, aren't they? Going from degens to actually bringing people in here that got followings and YouTubes, and they do all the regular stuff, just not us springboarding off of each other and sitting in our little bubble, right? Children of the Grave, welcome. Ready for your trolling. Timmy B, hey, I guess you and Adam might know each other, Timmy B. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit too. Michael Hex, right on. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you. Another boring-ass sideways week in the Hex world. So let's see what kind of shit we can stir up, what kind of stuff we can talk about until this crypto thing starts popping off. I know there's all kinds of excitement in other chains and L2 and liquidity providing and all that other stuff going on, and people talking about what do you call it, the freaking encapsulated stakes and all that bullshit, whatever. I've got really no comment on all that stuff yet, guys. When things come to fruition and things look as good as Hex does, then we can start talking about them. I mean, why make promises, right? Isn't that what Hex was created for, is not to bring up promises and whatnot? So keep all that shit in the chat rooms and whatever, and you guys keep fighting about it, and when it fucking comes out, we'll talk about it then if it's bitching and cool. Because everything else so far has not been bitching and cool, really. Everything that's tried to build on Hex or do anything to Hex has just fucking taken Hex away from Hexicans. That's all I've ever seen any of it do, is take Hex away from Hexicans. And I've heard Richard say it too. That's what they're trying to do, guys. They're trying to get your Hex away from you. So, I mean, I don't know about all the other stuff out there, but that's what happens. And just guard your Hex like it's very precious, like it is. Because as soon as we see the next pump, you're going to wish you did. All right, so let's get right to it. So the guest that we've got coming on is well known, and I have seen some of his stuff. I don't know a whole lot of it. I'm not a big YouTuber myself as far as watching all the streams and stuff, and keeping up with the financial world. I've lived it, guys. You guys all know who I am. I've been a worker bee for all of my life, and out there in the blue collar field, and I've been a few rounds in the cycle. So that's what I know. I know what has happened to my pocketbook. I know what has happened to my, world and my government and what it's done to me and how I've fared in the whole thing. So that's really all I have is experience. I don't have a bunch of book knowledge for you guys, but I've got experience, and it's good to have people that are more in tune to it, like our guest. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him up so we can start chatting, because I'm really interested in talking to him. At first I was a little like, okay, another one of these financial guys and red pillar dudes or something. No, I listened to his stream and I really like his stuff because he resonates with me, and we're going to get to talk about some cool things. All right, I'm going to bring him up now without any further freaking pirate ado. Our new buddy. Let's see if he's going to be our buddy. Adam Kokesh, how you doing, bro?
Excellent. Permission to come aboard, Captain?
Granted.
Makes it a little better there. Why am I still coming in foggy? It must be rough weather here in the Garden of Freedom. I'm here in the mountains of Arizona.
Oh,
and
nice.
Man, it's a cold and windy one. But I love your intro. I love your styling.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, beautiful work. I love it. And I know, dude, what it takes, and I know what it takes to fail in independent media. I know how much effort you can get into YouTube. No, and I appreciate the shout out there, the reframing and the intro. But man, there's a reason my producer calls me now the most censored man on YouTube. And if you look at my numbers, where I've got 250,000 subs, and I've been flat at that for like the last 10 years. And even now, like my numbers,
you've been streaming for 10 years, bro?
Well, not streaming, but I've been active on YouTube actually since my first video, which I posted in 2007, which is incidentally my most viewed. And it's just a clip of me in Iraq telling a joke in a fighting hole. It's a bad South Park reference, but it's got tens of millions of views because somehow I got on some military humor circuit. And I mean, the thing I hear, but I've been doing this since I've been a full-time activist. It's Throwback Wednesday. I'm wearing a hoodie that I actually was given by the organization as a member in 2007. Yeah, man, nice. This is a 14-year-old hoodie. This is my worn-out career.
We got a whole nother thing here in common that I didn't even know. I was listening to a couple of your streams, and I listened to your crypto stream, and I listened to a couple others, and I was like, man, this guy resonates with me now, because I'm a military guy too. I'm obviously older than you because
was.
And
now, shit, man.
I'm definitely a fucking pirate now. Yes. What branch were you in?
Well, as you can tell from the stupid look on my face and the crayons in my teeth, I was in the Marine Corps.
Right on. Me too. I just got the crayons out about maybe 6 months ago. There's still a little orange back in the back there.
Yeah,
but
VA doesn't cover that with TRICARE, do they?
No. Who were you with? What unit were you with, bro?
Originally, November Battery 514 out of Pico Rivera, California, as a reservist artillery cannon crew, and then I volunteered to go to Iraq and did a lat move to civil affairs.
You were arty all the time, or
no, I was originally, but when I deployed, I was civil affairs, and it was a lot more interesting as a result.
That is going to be cool to talk about. Right on.
Well, there was like our reserve unit wasn't getting called up, and you know why I joined the Marines, right? I wanted to be the first kid on my block with a confirmed kill. And I really was that fucked up with my, worship of government and the state that I actually said when I enlisted, if the government decides that someone deserves to die, I want to be the one there pulling the righteous trigger. And holy shit, I learned the hard way that when you serve it, not only is the military an anti-American institution, but you're not serving your country when you join the military. You're serving bankers, politicians, and war profiteers.
God damn, you're speaking my language, bro. You must have read. What's that?
You know what's about the real pirates? It's the fleet commanders.
Yeah, really. So you must have read Smedley Butler's book then, and it resonated with you, right?
Man, when you go to boot camp and they give you that green Bible and they say, "Look, Smedley Butler, look what a hero! Second most decorated Marine in military history, 2 medals of honor, Bronze Star, Silver Crosses."
They don't let you read his book, though.
And then they somehow conveniently leave out the fact that when he got out of the Marine Corps, he wrote a book called War is a Racket, and he described himself as a high-class muscle man for big business, specifically saying in the banana wars that he fought, and he made Central America safe for Dole Fruit Company. And you go,
yeah. And that was before World War II. This was before the Greatest War and all of the patriotism. He was saying this shit before, man.
It's amazing. Americans have forgotten so many crimes from our government. I mean, I look now, the Constitution, and this might come as hopefully a pleasant surprise, an intellectual relief, if a bit of a shock to your audience. If you're a constitutionalist, as in you believe not just in a specific document, but constitutionalism, that if we're going to have governments, they should write down their rules and their structure and organization and limits on their power and what they're going to do with it, et cetera, et cetera. Right? Well, if you're a constitutionalist, you have to be opposed to the current constitution in effect in the United States because it was the product of an illegal coup against the Articles of Confederation, which were was the legal constitution of the time. And it was a coup that created a strong central authority in order to have a central bank, standing armies that the founders were explicitly against. They wanted a decentralized militia-based defense model, a intellectual property racket, codification of slavery. And where we're at now is like the Constitution serves as this imaginary bottom of the rabbit hole, but you're like a foot down a hole that goes down a mile. And if you go, no, man, the Constitution is bullshit. The Constitution is is the charter of a criminal organization founded in a coup against a legitimate government. They tell you about 1776, and then they tell you Constitution Day, 1789. What the hell do you think was happening for 13 years? You're all just running around with chickens with their heads cut off going, oh my gosh, we don't have a government. Somebody write a constitution. Hurry. And that is the fundamental foundational crime of the American government that we have today. Yeah. And it's been swept under the rug very effectively. I mean, how many Americans know this? I mean, even among people who say they're constitutionalists who have studied American history and know the Constitution, and it's the chains that bind the government down that prevent it from violating your rights and protect us from.
It gives them the right.
What American fantasy land do you live in? Are you kidding me? Like what denial? You have to just be in such denial of reality to think, oh yeah, it's the Constitution that protects our rights. Like get real. And since then, I mean, you go to the Civil War. A lot of people have uncovered recently. Lincoln's racism.
Well, the Mankato 38 is pure example of that, and people don't even talk about or know what the Mankato 38 is. And do you?
I don't know that one. No.
Okay, so it's the largest mass hanging in U.S. history. And
yes. Okay. Yeah.
It was all Indians, and there was 38 of them, and they were all being punished for a crime that we couldn't find out. So the government couldn't find out who actually committed the crime. So they said, well, you 38 are going to pay for it. And Abraham Lincoln signed it, and they hung all 38 of them. And every year, a lot of Indian tribes, they get together and they march through the snow on horseback and on foot, and they go out to the site where they were all hung. And that's all lost history. That's all lost history that you don't read in the history books. It's just Abe Lincoln was an honest man.
I would only object to the term lost so much as deliberately buried. And thank you for cutting off my tour of American history forgotten. But yeah, you can go from the Constitution is that foundational crime to the Whiskey Rebellion, to all the all the wars leading up to the Civil War, to all the backstory on the Civil War, to the World War I, the Banana Wars, the Tuskegee experiments, the people funding both sides of World War II, the Bushes, hello, and what I want to bring this forth now for, and looking at our current situation, is we're actually facing a very similar episode right now with COVID. And one of the important things about this narrative that is not being underscored enough is that the reason Texas and Mississippi and Wyoming and other states now are lifting their mandates and their shutdowns is not because, now the virus isn't dangerous. It never was. It never was. And I don't want to say it's not real. It's not. I mean, it's somewhere on this, from what I can tell, from my opinion, it's somewhere on the scale of as deadly as the flu. Maybe a new virus being introduced. It's going to be, and probably less deadly than the flu. It's not fake. It's not like it doesn't exist. Although I will say there's a lot of psychosomatic bullshit going around out there. And even I was victim to it at one point, because everything's a symptom of COVID. Oh my God, did you have the sniffles? I think I had it last December. Oh my gosh, it must. And I was saying this last year, going, maybe then I had it, whatever. Yeah. But why are they lifting the shutdowns and the lockdowns now? Because the lie is wearing thin. They are unenforceable. The racket, as we have it set up right now, it's not to say it can't change. There's a new mutation, a new strain. We have to start over. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It'll only last 2 years, we promise. By the way, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of 2 weeks to flatten the curve in just a few days here. I don't know, to be celebrated, I think I'm going to burn masks off other people's faces. But what are we doing to actually mark this occasion? I think the most important thing we can do is make sure that we, the people, and not they, the authorities, who have been a part of this conspiracy of conspiracies in the open, write the history of this thing and really make it clear that this was a normal event in the global human petri dish that was used to further the purposes of government and media and the authorities. And we all know, like, does government tell you what its actual purpose is when it puts you in cemetery row seating in front of a government employee and has you read out of a government textbook? Fuck no. Don't believe that shit. Look at their actions speaking louder than words. What's the actual purpose of government? To keep the super rich getting richer at the expense of the rest of us. And the sooner you can accept that and get over your hang-ups, the sooner you can face this reality like a functional.
They've already destroyed all of the third world countries, and now they're coming after the middle class of the United States. And that's what I've watched happen over the last 3 decades while I've worked my fucking last 8 freaking, pieces of my spine. My discs are gone because I worked my ass off to provide for my family. And all I did was watch my income get weaker and weaker and weaker as I worked harder and harder and harder. And you just look at the productivity numbers of the middle class American, human being, and look at what they've done over these last 30 years and whose pockets got filled. Just like you said, it's the elite, the rich, the large corporations, the CEOs of those large corporations. Their income has gone up 350x versus where it used to be 35x an employee's salary. Now it's 350x an employee's salary. Now I'm all for people going out and making money and everything, but at the expense of the people that are doing it. Now you start to turn it into slavery again.
Yeah,
it's fraud.
To put this in context, in slavery, where there's like direct human ownership, is an appropriately inflammatory term here, but it has to be tempered with the reality and the relative nature of this. But when you owned slaves back in the day, which was a Wednesday, when you owned slaves, you actually like owned and controlled them and had all of their, you might give them back part of what they produce to feed themselves, but you
to keep them alive.
Right. Whereas today, the super class has decided that giving people the illusion of freedom and only taking half of what they earn actually makes them more profit. And if you say half, Adam, where'd you get that? Well, you see, Captain, on your paychecks, you saw what, 20 to 30% coming out, right, on your pay stub, something like that.
Never changed, no matter who was in who was in service of the government. It never changed.
But why do I say 50%? You add up all the other fees, fines, costs, bullshit, hidden taxes, everything.
Every time I buy something, I pay taxes.
Yes, the average working American today is working for government more than half the year. Do we have half slavery? Shit, I don't know, but you can't leave this country with your money unless you offshore my crypto first.
And we'll get into crypto too. That's going to be fun. But like you said, the 50%, and then what they've done is they've used the money grab to actually buy more power in government by, K Street. And, everybody thinks, they keep saying they, the government. Well, the government isn't. Those guys that are up there signing the papers and sitting in the fucking white, marble rooms with the gavels and shit, that's not the government. The government's down over there on K Street in Washington, D.C., where the lobbyists live. Every day there is lunch, breakfast, and dinner being served to all of them motherfuckers, and they're passing pieces of paper saying, this is what you're going to go work through Congress this week, buddy. This is what you're going to go work through and get done for us. And slowly but surely, they've made it to where they've paid less and less and less to live and buy and survive and get the things that they want, while they've made all of us pay more and more and more to where it's gotten to where it's 50%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, there's one other fundamental thing about this that connects to the monetary system and the central banks, this idea of inflation. The term was originally used to describe inflating the monetary supply, putting more money into the market.
Yep.
And we have been misled to use that term to describe price inflation, which is a potential result of monetary inflation. We have the same number of dollars chasing the same number, or more dollars chasing the same goods and services. People pay more, the prices go up. And we've kind of accepted, as the American middle class, really people around the world, that's the natural state of economies, that things get more expensive over time. And it's the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Things get less expensive over time. The
Yes.
price inflation is a deliberate economic manipulation. Think about it. This is a very simple economic concept. And for me, my example as I was learning this was the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yes, I'm 39 years
Yep.
old. Remember the first one came? I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, Dad, I need $200. I need to buy a Nintendo. And then like 2 years later, right before the next one came out, right, Super Nintendo, the price started going down and down and down. But that's the natural course of economic progress. As we develop technology, as we become more effective at producing things, we produce them more efficiently, and prices should come down across the board for consumers. And we see this in some undeniable ways with like cheap consumer goods from China. And Walmart, as corrupt and fucked up
But
as it
see,
is,
that was a bait and switch on that one too, because I mean, I remember when I used to buy a fucking potato peeler, right? And the son of a bitch worked, and it sat in my drawer for 5-10 years, and the motherfucker still worked when I picked it up 10 years later. Now go get a potato peeler today, right? And you use that thing for a week, and the son of a bitch falls apart. Or you get a toaster. My grandfather's the same fucking toaster he's had since 1940, right? And I finally had to make him change it out because he was eating burnt toast one day. I'm like, what are you doing eating burnt toast? You like burnt toast? He goes, no, I don't like burnt toast. I said, well, why are you eating it? He goes, because the fucking toaster don't work. I said, well, get you a new toaster. So I get him a new toaster, and shit, the thing goes out 3 weeks later. He's like, I want my old fucking toaster back. I'll eat the burnt toast, right?
Yeah, man, it's a different challenge shopping for shit that lasts. But I gotta tell you, I found a little trick.
Yeah.
I'm an electric chainsaw enthusiast. I love.
I got one for you, bro. Oh, I got one. Go ahead. I don't mind any interrupt.
And with a cord, I'll truck around a generator and an extension cord to run my electric chainsaw, so I can wave it over my head with one hand because it's so damn light. Really powerful, 16-inch electric. And I wear them out. The thing is, I figured out a way to stick it back to the man. You get the 2-year warranty every time, and you just get a chainsaw, wear it out. A month later, take it back, get a new one.
That's become the norm. I mean, you could return anything now, though. My wife will take, like, the air fryer. We had the air fryer for fucking 2 months. The damn thing, put it back in the box, take it in. Hey, the thing don't work. Give you a brand new one. So now it's like you got to go on this exchange thing and stand in the goddamn line so you can get your shit to work.
Yeah, this isn't the ultimate solution, obviously.
No.
But being a conscious consumer in America today is more important than ever before because they've got you tied into their system in ways that you don't even think about. Buying gas, your electric, your water, utilities, things like that. It's one of the reasons I live off grid. I feel like this is the ultimate manifestation of my values, and it's not to be alone or to separate, but by stepping back from the polluted mainstream, I get to say I'm only going to welcome relationships into my life that are non-coercive or don't contribute to the violence and evil of government in the world. And the most important one for this is with your job. If you're working, I hate to say like quit your job, because you've been made dependent on it. If you quit your job, you're not going to be able to feed your family or pay rent. Well, guess what? If you stop doing heroin, you're going to have withdrawals. That doesn't mean keep doing heroin the rest of your life. Okay. And it's not always an easy thing, but you come out on the other side with relief. I don't have a paycheck job. I have money that I take away from government. I have money that I earn under the table. I have money that I earn through businesses, that I spend through businesses to avoid tax liability. There are all sorts of ways to legally and peacefully reorganize your life to say, at least for me, I'm not going to contribute to the evil of the world in this way. And it really is, employment's the big one, but we are at a really strange time for money as a whole, like society wide. I have neighbors that occasionally do manual labor for me, helping me out here, and they used to be happy to work for $10 an hour, cash under the table, because they get to smoke pot and hang out outside with me all day. But
Nice.
That's my kind of manual labor. You still get that shit done, but you have a lot more fun doing it than on the clock. But now it's like, why would anybody work for $10 an hour? Why would you work for $20 an hour? You can make more money on the internet putting your hand out for a government relief check. whether it's unemployment or, some kind of veteran thing that, oh shit, I got to apply for that one too. It's on my to-do list. Like,
you gotta get your percentage, bro.
Why am I wasting time talking to you, man? I can make more money filling out forms online asking for government money, right? And at some point, this has disastrous social effects, and
yeah.
People who have been aware of this, libertarian econ nerds like myself, have been talking about this in a sort of fringe, abstract way for a couple decades. Like, well, if you give away too much money, you disincentivize work and you devalue the dollar. But now, I'm not one of these like doomsdayers, like, oh, the dollar's about to crash, buy gold for my sponsors, But there is a weird relationship that we have with money, because we are coming to this sort of fuzzy point in history, and there are two big things. One is the government monetary system and the flooding of money around COVID, and the sudden drop in productivity, right, with all the forced unemployment.
Yeah.
But there's also the technology aspect of this. And what the superclass has been doing is keeping the middle class suppressed and working to keep the system going, as opposed to enjoying the product of our labor ourselves. Imagine if your income had doubled every year. You weren't working for government, right? Half the year. How much better off would you be financially? The death tax, right? The inheritance tax. You can't give your kids what you've produced. You can't give, upon your death and say, and I know it's not.
It's up to a certain point, yeah.
Right. It's not the be all end all. It's not this simple. But the generational theft of wealth has robbed us of the wealth of generations that has been built by those who came before us, in such a way that it would be so much more distributed. Work would be optional already for most people. We would live in a radically different world if, even just over the last 100 years, we didn't have fiat currency systems running the show and depriving us of that. And what's been stolen from us is not just a little bit here and there and here and there and here and there, but
big tranches of money.
It's even deeper than that. I call it like it's the wealth of generations that has been stolen from American families. And really, families all over the world are subject to the same economic forces. But why did your parents not get to give you a house when they died? Why did that not? Why are there not familial estates? Why aren't there more family businesses? Oh, they get bought out, huh? Oh, you never really owned your home. The bank owned it the whole time. Geez. Well, this is, and if you just sort of are born into this, with our little caveman brains, you go, oh wow, it's amazing! I got the internet, I got TV, I got Rush Limbaugh.
I got a new phone every 7 months.
I got a new car every 2 years if I'm plugged into the system properly, right? If I really got that matrix cord all the way up my butthole, I'm gonna get a new car every 2 years, right, with my fat corporate paycheck. But you have to, at some point, detach from money without detaching from value. And it's a weird thing right now, because not only are we seeing price inflation and a huge inflation of the monetary supply, but a sudden burst of government handouts that are going to drive price inflation, at least for the short term, but also really fundamentally fuck with everybody's heads.
Yeah.
It's not something that maybe
because we've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I've seen people get, 1 year we got $600 from Bush and we got, a few $100 here, but we've never seen people start getting checks like $1,400 and child freaking tax breaks of $3,600. And I mean, this is, like you said, there's a big influx of cash that is going to be coming into people's pockets that it never seen before.
It's like Reagan said, the closest thing that we will ever know to eternal life is a temporary government program. In DC, they said the National Guard troops posted at the Capitol, oh, they're just going to be there for 2 weeks. Oh,
yeah, let's watch this.
Well, we're figuring out how to turn it into a permanent protection force for our newly militarized Capitol Police military state. I mean, it's so
as they cement that fence to the floor.
but now the the COVID relief checks look like they're turning into UBI. They're calling, hey, they have, the senators, we have to have these COVID relief checks continue as long as COVID is with us.
Well, this basic income, I mean, it's funny, they were talking about it, and now all of a sudden there's a need for it. It's here. It's like, what was the guy's name that was running for president? What's that?
Problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah. Well, who was the guy that was running for president that was talking about that like it was going to happen?
Andrew Yang was the
Andrew Yang. Yeah. So Andrew Yang was talking about it, and then that was like, what? Where's this? That's going mainstream? People are talking about this mainstream, and then all of a sudden, here it is.
Well, see, I want to provide a sort of a fiscally libertarian alternative view on UBI here, because there's nothing wrong with guaranteed income. Like, I thought that before YouTube fucked me, I would have passive revenue for the rest of my life from my YouTube channel, but then they started pulling shit down and demonetizing it, so that didn't count, and I've got my money.
No, you haven't had your stream completely shut down though.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, we
were
banned
you have
from streaming. Yeah, we were banned from streaming for a period of a month last year.
Okay.
We dance around. They're about to delete my entire channel with 100 million views and 3,000 something videos, and
we've been doing the same thing, dancing around it. Watching everybody get taken off around us, and I asked him. I said, "What's compliant? What do I got to do to be compliant, and not get ripped down? What is it?"
Suck my big green weenie.
They never even told me what dick to suck. They haven't said anything.
It's the red one or the blue one. You get to choose. God damn it, Captain! This is a free country. You
got to choose.
Which color government dick you suck if you want to get along in this world.
So we just haven't worried about it, but it's bound to happen because it's happened to everybody else. And
no offense, but it's different in my case because I've been doing this. I've been building that YouTube channel for 14 years, and I started doing it before YouTube was bought by Google, before the demonetization algorithms came into effect, before the censorship of Google getting there and AdWords taking over their whole revenue sharing system. There was like a golden era of real blossoming of independent media on the internet, and it stopped. Like it's hard to say pinpoint when exactly, but when I started really active, mid 2000s, certainly through maybe I remember when it happened for me, because I was at the height with my independent media production, doing a 30-minute scripted show and 3-hour live video podcast 5 days a week. And we were getting about 2 million views a month pretty consistently. Nice. And that was about $6,000. Like, that was enough to pay rent and take care of some interns, And overnight, our revenue got cut by 2/3. Over 2 months, period. And what we think happened is that when Google AdSense took over, they gave the advertisers the option to avoid controversial content.
Yeah.
And because I had weed and marijuana as keywords in every video, and they didn't tell us, and it's been an interesting struggles, and honestly, I don't know where we go from here, Captain, but
decentralized platforms are going to be where it's at, and but they just none of them work properly. You
get shut down like Parler or hacked like Gab.
Yeah, there almost isn't a way around it other than trying to get the message out there as best you can and play. It's you know what, dude, it's like life has been nothing but a big fucking dance. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? You know, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get around all your rules and fucking things and try and make it and be happy on top of it to keep from fucking, you know, ending up naked on top of a roof with a fucking AK, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do this whole dancing first thing. I want to go straight to making love. That's
just get on with it, right? Just tell me what I got to do and get on with it.
But no, it's so. I mean, I've been doing this full time, one way or another, for about 14 years, full time activism, and it's always involved some element of media production.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the big false narrative right now is that it's liberal-owned platforms censoring conservatives. It's bullshit, because the powers that be. Well, the man, you know, my show is called Adam versus the Man, and the man has two dicks. He has a red dick and a blue dick, and he doesn't care which one you suck, as long as you suck red or blue dick. And they will make it look like they're censoring conservatives in order to cover up the real story, which is that they're censoring libertarians. And it's not because we're obsessed with oral sex and crude analogies.
Yeah, exactly. So let me digress and get into some things before we forget. So this chainsaw thing. The chainsaw thing. So I'm a millwright by trade. I've been a millwright for, 25 plus years. And one of the things that I discovered along the way in the chainsaw world is a fucking Milwaukee, an electric powered, battery powered Milwaukee freaking chainsaw. And that son of a bitch is a badass.
So I don't have an ethical objection. But my practical objection for battery-powered electrics is the weight.
I know.
And it's a little extra money, right? You can spend more money. You can get extra battery packs and chargers, and you can carry a backpack full of batteries and chainsaw your heart out. I mean, I go for, like, sometimes I'll do 10-plus hour days straight on the chainsaw. Like, I'll get up, check the news, jerk off in bed, have a snack, get my dirty clothes on from the day before, and I'll go out and I'll be on the chainsaw till it gets dark, just drinking water, eating snacks out of my pocket. And at the end of a 10-hour day, if you're carrying that battery around, and I'm trimming trees and I'm doing shit like above my head, it's a lot of weight to move around. And I would rather fuck with a cord attached to a generator than that. But it doesn't matter. Like, this stuff, the point, like with this, the technology, I mean, I was like, when I got out here 5 years ago, I was like, man, I wish I could get an electric chainsaw. Why is this such a pain in the ass? And I got to carry around you can, it's so much more body energy efficient to have an electric rather than a gas, because you're not cranking and managing the gas engine, but you're also not holding the vibration the whole time. And you can stop and put it down. It's so much easier. I get so much more work done. And I'll work just as hard, but instead of fucking with the chainsaw engine the whole time, I'm actually cutting wood and playing in the dirt. But yeah, man, this is the thing about the technology, and I want to bring it back to the bigger conversation with this. And chainsaws are a fun segue. But like, when I got out here 5 years ago, it was like a dinky 12-inch Ryobi, the neon green battery powered, and it was like barely a trimmer. Yeah. And now the 16-inch electric that I have, it's a home light. And there are others that are as powerful. I mean, I'll cut through 20-inch trunks with it. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it just does it.
So listen to the story, what impressed me. So I've been doing this shit for, like I said, 25 years. And I pulled these very large machines off of these skids that were specially built for them. And they had 6x12s that built this skid. And we had to dispose of this stuff. We had a big dumpster, and you can't just throw those things in a dumpster. You got to cut them all to ribbons, right? So I had some young kid out there, and I said, hey, need you go grab a chainsaw, go to the Home Depot, grab a good chainsaw, get back here, boom, boom, boom. So he goes, and I'm putting the machines in. We took the first one off the skids, and I said, hey, cut this thing up. And he comes out of the truck with this box with the Milwaukee freaking electric saw. I said, what the fuck are you doing with that thing? What are you thinking? Yeah. And he's like, no, the thing's supposed to be really good. And I'm like, fuck, plug it in, whatever. So kid plugs this thing in, He goes out there now about an hour later after we put the first machine in, and I just hear him out there. I don't think nothing of it. I'm in there setting this machine, come back out. We grab the second one. I look, and he's mowing through the stuff. I was like, oh, shit. Went back in, put the other machine in, went back out. Kid had this shit, 2 skids, and I'm talking, these are big son of bitches. These were 18 feet long by about 10 feet wide, all, 6 by 12. Had this shit cut up into bite-sized pieces, right? And
should have just dropped them here. I could have used the spare lumber.
With that damn saw. And I said, you did all that with that thing? He said, yep. I said, how many batteries did you have to go through? 1.5. I said, you're fucking kidding me, right? Nope. That's it. This thing is a badass. I said, you goddamn right it is. And then I've used the thing, and it was light too. It was really light. And anyway, I don't want to get into chainsaws either. But
let me see that connects too, because there is a generational effect here, and I know, you caught yourself in an okay boomer moment there, but really you're one of the people who can there. In our generation, I think, as the older one, I speak for all millennials here. I think you could when I was growing up, you could tell there were some older people who stayed flexible, and then there were some who their brains when they turned 18. It doesn't happen anymore though, and people are breaking out of that.
It doesn't. All the guys I work with aren't that way, man. They don't bend like I do.
Well, the technology is progressing so fast now.
Yeah.
That what we're able to do, and again, this goes back to what's been stolen from us. It's the value of an hour of human labor to produce consumable goods and services that other people want, right? That should be going up in terms of what is the value of an hour of human labor. It should be going way, way, way up. And prices come down. Instead, that's been relatively flat. It goes up some. I guess it's not that simple, but and prices go up. But what's happening is that we're getting to this point again where things are getting fuzzy, and a big part of that's with the technology, and crypto's part of that. But even more so, what we're able to do physically. How are you going to keep people on grid paying taxes when you can buy land? Like I paid $13,000 for 11 acres. And I came out here with a $4,000 RV. I would have been happy living in if I didn't care to have more. Why would you? If that's an option? Why would you live on grid? Why would you keep working that schmuck job? And it's possible because technology is so cheap and reliable in terms of creating a human living environment and providing food, water, energy, clothing, shelter, blah blah blah. Like these basic, even electricity. I mean, look. Solar power. You can look at all these poor bastards in Texas going, oh, you're price gouging. You're taking. Well, what the fuck did you expect? And now they're paying more for 1 month's worth of electricity than it would to convert their house to solar.
That's what they wanted.
Nuts? How long have we stayed on this system that has been so ineffective and inefficient? And there are a couple of technologies that I like to fantasize about that combine to take this to maybe its logical conclusion, but even before we get to the point of uploading our consciousnesses into machinery, and be turning into robots that can blast off into outer space and populate the cosmos, we have 3D printing, right?
Yep.
And in labs, we have molecular 3D printing where they can actually combine molecule by molecule to create a structure. Yep. And we know that the course of technology is that things get machines, devices, especially in electronics, get smaller over time. The cell phone computing power that you have in your pocket used to take a building to house. Literally, you look at the early IBM days, they had building-sized computers that weren't as capable as your phone. Nope. And you look at what Elon Musk is working on with Neuralink. Yeah. Right? Putting chips in your brain. Yeah. Well, it's really not that hard to imagine that pretty soon that molecular 3D printer is going to be small enough to fit on your fingertip.
Yep. Let me tell you.
Hold on. And it's going to be controlled by the chip in your brain. And it's going to be able to not just rearrange whatever molecules in a lab, you're going to be able to rearrange the molecules out of the air. to create physical objects that you dreamed of. You're going to be able to just point into the space in front of you and zap things into existence by thinking about them. We're all about to be fucking wizards. And
I don't know if I'm going to make it that long.
Oh, you will. Oh, you will. That's the best part, Captain. Now you go back compared to like cavemen, we're already wizards. But life extension technology is here too.
Oh,
Whatever
yeah.
it is, if you study Aubrey de Grey, I've interviewed him years ago. We are on the verge of, if not already at, what he calls longevity escape velocity.
Yeah.
If you make it to the point where life extension technology is increasing your life expectancy by 1 year per year, guess what? You don't die of old age anymore. And we're probably already there. I mean, unless you're, I mean, I like to be,
Have you heard of the SENS project?
No, but hold on. I like to be old to mean people. If you've got less than 10 years left on your meat sack, you might not make it. But if you've got 10 vibrant years left in your body, you're probably there. Congratulations. I would take care of yourself.
Cool. Yeah, I'm taking real good care of myself. I try my best. I'm 53. I've been, around the block a few times. So I figured I got about 10 more real good surfing years left in me. And then it should,
Marine Corps.
So shit, where was I going to go back to? Crap. Oh, Elon Musk. So check this out. Now this is real. You're talking about the fingertip shit. I put in, it was about a $4 or $5 million machine for the space company over there, right? For Mr. Musk. And it was a 3D printer that printed Inconel. And the way the printer worked was it actually had a table like a mill. I don't know if you know what a mill is, but it had had a 5-axis mill on it, and it had a laser, and it threw dust across this freaking
and the laser solidifies it.
Laser solidifies it and
builds shit. The guy who was developing that at Los Alamos National Laboratory 15 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, I put that one in probably. That was probably about 6 years ago. I put that one in, so I know they got better shit now than that.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah. I mean, but what was a trip was when they made the part. You could see inside, and it had moving parts inside and all that shit. But on the actual mold that made the piece and milled it and did everything else to it, there were these it made strips all along the way that sat on the side. And what it did was it was test strips so that they would test the strength of the inner parts without having to touch the inner parts. So there was little test strips all the way down so they can see what the inside was like actually versus, it was freaking trippy shit, man. I mean, I've seen a lot of trippy shit in my years putting in machines, but that one was really cool. That one was really cool. And it's here today. And I know we're 6 years into the future and there's much better shit than that. Like when I was in the Corps, they had guys. So I was stationed at Camp Geiger. I was an 0311. I was a fucking pounder. And there were these guys that their MOS was flying fucking model airplanes. Now this is in the 80s, and they're flying model airplanes every day.
They didn't call them drones; they just called them fly
planes. What the fuck are these guys doing flying airplanes out here? We're busting our humps. We're fucking up and down these goddamn mountains. These guys are flying. What the fuck is that all about?
Well, now those guys in the military are the really fucked in the head ones who had to watch bodies explode on their drone cameras.
Yeah, they're messed up, man. They're I don't even want to get into all that shit, but yeah, my brothers, love you guys, man. Keep your heads up. So going off the grid, bro, was like, my dad did that. He passed away a few months ago, but he went out to the mountains of Colorado, said, fuck everybody, went out to the end of a dirt road, got some property. Dude behind him had 200,000 acres, and the guy said, do everything you want out there, just don't build anything. And so my dad had basically 200,000 acres and a cabin and no one around, gun range out the backyard, the whole thing, right? And he was able to do that after he retired, and he loved his pot and loved his freaking mountain, and he say la vie out into the wilderness there. And me, Southern California, 3 kids, freaking job. I got the whole thing. It's like going off the grid is a scary motherfucking thing, man. And, but but I hear what you're saying.
Staying on should be, when you get to perspective, man, staying on grid's a lot scarier.
Well, I'm making plans. I'm making plans because I think I've secured my future, and well, I have. I mean, I've done well. I've done well, and I'm thinking about getting myself on an island somewhere. That's my thing. Arizona's too landlocked. I got to surf, dude. I got to surf every day. That's the only reason I really.
California's going to fall off into the ocean. We're going to have Arizona beachfront property.
I'll move out to your place, man. I'll come surfing from there.
No. Didn't they tell you about global warming? The sea levels are going to rise. And so for me, at 200 feet, I figure I'll be at the beach in a couple decades.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But whatever's going to happen, I know that I'm going to be in the damn water with toes in the sand and in the water. That's going to be my thing. That's going to be my off the grid.
We're going to make our own here, big swimming pond with the beach.
Nice. Well, the one thing that got me to want to do it, I had a buddy that worked for Boeing, and he did his time, and it was time for him to retire. And he said, "Hey, man, can you put the sea container over here by my apartment?" And I said, "Yeah, man." And he packed it up, man. He put batteries and windmills and fucking solar panels and a Toyota pickup truck. And he threw all this stuff in a sea container, and all of this gear and shit that he got around in, Harbor Freight and all this shit. And then he went to Western Samoa to be a pearl farmer. I was like, God damn, that's fucking nice, man. And I've always just admired people that have been able to just, you know what? Pack it up and say la vie and go, and it's a hard, scary thing to do. But then again, everyone I've ever talked to says, no, you don't understand that it is. And there's that disconnect. But then once you do, the freedom is just amazing.
Well, if you don't mind going over a few minutes, I got a few things I want to pitch, and they're kind of related to that.
Pitch them.
You mentioned the dirt road. I got to the end of a dirt road and it wasn't far enough. So you know what I did, right?
Made the road further?
No, I called the local government road office and demanded that they build me a road like a good American. No, I built a road. Yeah, the land that I bought didn't connect to any existing roads. So I built a road. It is Ma Road. That is the actual name of the road. MUH space RD period. That's what's on the sign out here that my neighbor made me. You can see it if you come out. But if you want to find out what I'm doing here, it's at the Garden of Freedom on Instagram. It's a great photo gallery. It's a lot of fun. But I'm also working on a much bigger project related to this. Well, really, a big part of the purpose of coming out and living this way is the Gardenia Sovereignty Project. We call this place the Garden of Freedom, or the Independent Republic, Constitutional Proprietarian Monarchy of the Garden of Freedom in Perpetuity. Something like, we have a long formal title just to be fun. But the Garden of Freedom, Gardenia for short, which makes those of us who live here Gardenians. And we are planning on really formally and legally declaring our independence on July 4th of this year. It's just a coincidence with the timing. It's going to be awkward to have the same birthday as our neighbors, but we'll get over it. But it's a very serious micronation project that's kind of a combination of some micronations that have come and gone before, like the Conch Republic, which was a joke but a serious protest of a border patrol checkpoint blocking the Florida Keys that they ended up removing. Then there are places like Velocia, which are really just parody joke micronations that exist to make fun of government and get people thinking differently, which is great. But then there are very serious ones like Sealand, where people occupied an abandoned British sea fort and been more or less effectively left alone as a sovereign nation since then. And so we're basing this on the authority by which the United States government itself exists. It exists because people said, we want to be, well, actually they said, fuck you, King George, we're out of here, peace. Well, I'm translating a more modern vernacular, obviously. But their authority is based on, well, we said we're sovereign, so we're sovereign. Well, guess what? I'm going to do the same thing. And this is the bottom-up solution to big government, to decentralization. And I am recruiting, it sounds really weird to say, apply with Adam Kokesh for a government job, but it's an involuntary micronation. So yes, entirely libertarian, ethically compliant here. And there's a lot we want to do with this to challenge the authority of the United States, to make people more free, to empower other people with this model to make their own version, to declare sovereignty on their own land in an effective way, but also to leverage the sovereign authority of the government of Gardenia, a constitutional proprietarian monarchy where I am King Adam Charles Kokesh I, founder of Gardenia. Forever may he reign. But I'm also we're going to be issuing driver's licenses and passports and business licenses and other things that help people avoid the impositions, let's just say, to be polite, of the federal government of the United States. But a bigger plan with this. I mean, I'm in it for the money, as you know. On July 5th, we plan on declaring war against the United States of America and then surrendering on July 6th so that we can qualify. I think we get at least. I'm half Jewish, so I mean Israel gets $40 billion or something like a year. I mean we get a couple $1 billion a year for foreign aid. As the losers of the great Gardenia American War. There's a lot that we can do with this, both in seriousness and in parody, that reveals the ridiculous of government, but also as a serious way to say, no, fuck you, we're free, we're independent, and you can respect it as much as you want or disrespect it, but either way, if you don't, you're going to look like an asshole, and we will remain nonviolent. And this is where we are learning from and improving upon the American revolutionary experience with the lessons of MLK and Gandhi, to say that we can do this non-violently and actually be more effective. So we have a lot of government job openings. I'm especially looking for someone in the passport office and drivers. And we need a
What are you going to use for currency?
We have no official currency because we believe in the free market. So free market for money, obviously. But I'm going to have to put my name or my face on a coin at some point just for fun, right? But no, so there's a lot of opportunity with that. The other thing is with my daily production, Adam versus the Man. I'm live Monday through Friday. This is our last week, 9 to 11. Next week, it's 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we just promoted our executive director to the new business manager, CEO position, and our co-host to producer or to executive producer. So we have some volunteers filling in as co-host right now, and we're looking to build the team.
Nice.
Underneath that supervision of our great producer CJ Abernathy.
Yeah,
and then
awesome.
Yeah, okay, good. You know CJ, yeah, he's also a StreamYard wizard, and he would appreciate what you're doing here. But then there's also and this might be something a little more of direct appeal for you, is our new veteran service organization, 501c3 nonprofit, Homefront Battle Buddies. And our mission is to create a community of veterans through online organizing and in-person retreats to help each other pursue alternative healing therapies and transition more effectively to civilian life. And
nice.
It seems almost passe at this point,
yeah.
but it's more like it's about fucking time. Because Wounded Warriors is corrupt as shit, and they haven't done anything to have an impact on veteran suicide nationally. They have pissed so much money away into the sand that they're almost in competition with the U.S. government here. So it's like they're trying to compete feudally against the U.S. government for pissing money into the sand.
Never dug it. It just didn't seem real, and I got a lot of buddies that come back messed up, and they're just. There isn't real help, it seems, for them, and I haven't seen anything that I've been impressed with yet. So I'm going to check it out. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be interesting.
We want to do retreats at places like Gardenia, where we can be free and sovereign and actually enjoy some of the freedom that we were allegedly fighting for while serving bankers, politicians, and war profiteers. But even right now with cannabis. Normalizing cannabis, realizing its potential,
especially in that situation,
getting it in the hands of people who need it. We want to connect dispensaries with local veterans communities through retreats, and there are certain things, obviously legally, that we can't do officially, but this is why officially we are creating a community of veterans to help each other pursue alternative healing therapies. We're not doing it ourselves, but trust me, it's incredibly important facilitation work that makes it possible to explore MDMA, psilocybin, ayahuasca, DMT, and other alternative meditation, exercise, lifestyle, brain reprogramming therapies
Yeah.
that really just aren't accessible. So putting together retreats where we have volunteers or we hire people to come out and give classes, and veterans get to talk to each other in, I hate to call it a safe space, but a safe from government bullshit space, at least we could call it. We're in the process right now of getting the website up, homefrontbattlebuddies.com. But if you want to get involved with this or anything else, please email me, really easy, Adam at thefreedomline.com. All three words, thefreedomline.com. It's my main website. You can find adamversustheman.com and everything else from there. But I want to just end with this for what you're doing. And I know you're motivated by the Hexagon community. And ultimately, I support everybody who is exploring anything that challenges the monetary monopoly that's of the U.S. dollar that's not an obvious fraud. And it's great now that we have all of these opportunities to create communities around people who believe in the vision of Hex, who really see the potential for that in the market. And with what you're doing with this media production to promote it and grow that community, I'm not going to bet on Hex. I'm not going to bet on any new crypto, because I'm going to step back and hold everything I can. Although
so here's the thing, though, Adam. Here's the thing. The words are great, and what you're saying is great. But Hex isn't challenging the monetary system. Hex is challenging crypto, which I think really open your mind.
But that's, let me just finish this positive point, because I love it. I love it. And excuse me for mischaracterizing, but what I want to say,
you didn't mischaracterize it. People just don't even know. They don't even know what they don't know,
Well, what I want to say is, to the people who are watching this and who support you and support your message, don't just fucking sit there. Because to do what he's doing, even with this show, just a regular alternative media production, given the shadow banning and censorship that we face, all the various challenges, to have the commitment to maintain a regular production like this takes a lot of work, but more importantly, it takes you. It takes an active and engaged audience. If you're watching this, you've been listening to us rant for over an hour, you must think we said something important. Fucking share it. Share, if not this episode, share another one, whatever. But put your money and your clicks where your eyes and your ears are. Be a part of what makes it possible to make this change happen. Because just by choosing to put your attention here instead of on the mainstream TV media bullshit, you're an activist. You made a conscientious choice to make the world a better place. And the more people who do that, the better it gets.
Right on. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you, man. And Semper Fi, bro.
Arr.
Arr. I figured you'd get a kick out of that. All right, guys. Well, if an hour was good enough for you, man, I wanted to talk crypto with you a little more, but I don't want to keep you too much longer. If you can get into that, I know that you don't want to.
Well, I'm up for it, man. I'm not like in a hurry. I do have some things waiting on me here, but like crypto, to me, it's the most important instance of technology rendering government obsolete, because the purpose of government, again, to keep the super rich getting richer at the expense of the rest of us. What's their main tool? Fiat currency. So I've been a booster of Bitcoin since the beginning because I saw that potential. If only I was smart enough to take my own investment advice, but I'm not, and I'm not hodling anything right now. But it would be. I've always believed in being active and participating and spending money as crypto and promoting the use of it as money to challenge the system. Now, with blockchain in and of itself, obviously there's way more potential and there's so much more coming. Exactly. So, if you want to get into anything specific or ask me questions and reveal my ignorance, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to reveal your ignorance. I want to make maybe just kind of educate you a little bit. And because what we're doing here on this show is we're talking to people about the tragedy of crypto and what has happened. Look, we're talking about a technology, and earlier in the show, you and I both talked about, hey man, things get less expensive because they're old tech, and they get more expensive as you get new tech. Well, crypto is technology, and we're sitting here looking at Bitcoin like it's the future of programmable finance, and it's not. It was the first thing. It's yes, it's got a name. Yes, it's got marketability. Yes, it was first, but it's had 2 inflation bugs. It's built on spaghetti code. It's very slow old database. It's crap. If somebody made Bitcoin today, they'd laugh it out of the crypto space because it's shit. And I, like I said, I gave it its props, but when it comes to tech, it's shit. So what was the next step? Well, Ethereum was the next step. Ethereum was the next step to bring you programmable money. Here, now the shit can do stuff.
Skipping Litecoin, Namecoin, Dogecoin, and all the
they all tried.
Coin. I was actually a day trader when I got out of jail in 2013, and Bitcoin was at like $800, and I made a lot of money just trading between all those altcoins.
Yeah, and speculation tools are great.
Well, you're right to point. Well, Namecheap at least had some fun. Even Litecoin, although apparently in a historical perspective, an extremely modest incremental improvement over Bitcoin, was an attempt to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold, right? But you're right. I think I would agree with you that Ethereum represented the first sort of technological leap in crypto with what was possible on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah. And then there was another step beyond that, which is Hex. And now we have programmable money that's actually a finished product. So Hex is a finished product.
Have some modesty. You're skipping a few steps in the evolution.
No, I'm not. I'm actually not, because everything that's been built on Ethereum is shit. I'm going to be honest with you.
Ethereum, Hex, nothing in between. Or
I don't see anything in between. I've been in the space for a long time. I've been in the space for a long time, and I haven't seen anything that actually works well, is not a promise, is finished product, is audited. Have you seen anything that's been audited? I mean, what's audited out there? Show me a coin that's been audited. Or there are some trying, but nobody's actually done it. Hex has been audited 3 times. It had 3 audits. So before it was launched, it was finished. When it was launched, it's just like Bitcoin. They threw that out there, and there is nothing that you can do to change it. It's an immutable code. It's done. It's making interest. That's all you do. You can stake it. You can make a CD out of it, is basically what you do. Take your Hex at work.
I just got to interject one thing here, because I have heard the argument. I have interviewed Bitcoin maximalists, and I interviewed a dozen champions of the next best thing.
Of course.
And honestly, even on that count, I'm an agnostic. Is Bitcoin going to be the one that takes us to the end? I see the possibility. No. But it's just as likely that I know where you stand on this one. But I say it's possible. It seems unlikely that Bitcoin is just going to be the one that fulfills the core function of crypto as long as money is relevant for humanity. But it may be, it is going to have some major role in the transition to crypto. I am of the belief that crypto will displace all fiat currency around the world in the next few decades. Like maybe
I'd like to see that, but you got to start replacing. You got to start replacing the financial products, and none of them have replaced the financial product until now. Hex has replaced the CD. The traditional CD market has $7 trillion in it, and the interest on it is shit. It's crap. You can't. What are you going to get? 1-2% somewhere? Well, Hexicans. I've been making 38 to 40% over the last year on my Hex. So my Hex has grown 38 to 40% APY.
Okay, so let me ask you, because the bigger financial mechanisms associated with cryptos, I mean, that's not even new in and of itself. There have been, and I actually tried to start a crypto mutual fund years ago, and I never couldn't bring the right people together to make it happen.
Those are out now. I mean, Grayscale's done it.
Well, I know. Yeah. There are other people who have competed in that space, and I realized it wasn't the opportunity for me. I didn't have enough expertise to bring to the table myself. I was just like, I got an idea. Can you guys help me make this happen? But that's what I wanted, was like a stable investment mechanism for people to invest in crypto as a whole.
But how stable is something that's dropped 94%, 95%, 81%, 86%? Yeah, how can you make a how can you make a fund that's got products in it that do those kind of dips on a regular?
That would allow a casual investor to bet on crypto as a whole and not worry about, oh, is my wallet secure, or is this, what's this individual block?
Yes. It taking out the custodial shit where you pussify yourself and give it to somebody else to handle.
Well, no, you hey,
come on, what kind of libertarian are you?
Development of the advanced market. You don't grow all of your own food every day. Hey, you don't suck your own dick to be more
well, if you could.
Come on, man.
If you
sometimes
could.
You have to work with other people. Okay, so in the question of what crypto is going to be the one that really starts to compete with the dollar, it's going to be the one that has the killer app first, that gives the average consumer all of the functionality that they get from the current US dollar banking system. And that's sort of the security and the reliability and the institutional accountability that has to sort of be on top of or separate from any truly decentralized blockchain. And the powers that be are doing everything they can to fuck with every startup that's doing anything meaningful to challenge that. So, I mean, what is Hex's answer to that consumer challenge of someone who wants something that's just like their mobile banking app and it's as functional as their banking app?
We got it.
We've
actually got it. We have an app called Staker app, and it's a community built platform. And Steph and Firebun, two community guys, got together from this channel. On this channel, they actually met on this channel, and they were both. One was an amazing designer and an amazing back-end guy, and the other guy was an amazing programmer. They got together and they built an app where you can actually onboard Hex through your fiat. You can actually transfer Hex on an exchange that they have on there within different cryptos and USDC. And then you can also stake your Hex. You can actually create your staking ladders, your CD ladder with your Hex on this single app. So they've done it. It's there. And, it's just nobody knows about it. Nobody knows what we've been doing. We've been working our fucking asses off here. Richard worked his ass off for 3 years building the thing. Held on to it, said, ain't ready yet, guys, ain't ready yet. And then he launched it and said, fucking boom, there it is. Code can't be touched. Nobody can fuck with it. Hex is on its way, and watch what it does. 232x, 232x in a fucking year.
Yeah, you can't brag on that. Every new crypto goes from 0 to a penny, and that's 200.
But then it drops.
Millions of a penny to a penny. It multiplied by a factor of 1 million. No, okay,
but then it drops. Hex hasn't dropped. We're still sitting. Yeah. We've had our dips. But now we're sitting sideways in a bull market. And watch what happens in a bear market when hexagons are making 30%, 40% interest, and everybody's crypto is crashing.
Okay, so let me pose one more challenge to you for Hex then, because as an idealist, as an ideologue, I have an inherent objection to a singular wallet having half the. I don't know if it's all in one wallet, but the Satoshi wallets existing.
Yep.
And I'm actually, I know some of the people who are early investors, and you go, well, if we're creating a monetary system, you think about the giant pyramid scheme that is the U.S. dollar today, right? Yeah. Well, the top of the pyramid's still pretty fat. There's a lot of multi-millionaires, or there's even a significant number of billionaires. I don't know how many billionaires in the world today. Well, the more they devalue the dollar, the more there are, right? But yeah. you have one of the appeals of crypto is that it overthrows the inherent unfairness of the current system, but it doesn't achieve that if the people who created the coin happen to have the biggest stash, and if it gets world adoption. Now you actually, if you took Bitcoin and got rid of all fiat currencies in the world and used Bitcoin everywhere to its full, capabilities, you would have a greater unfair concentration of wealth than you do today with fiat currencies. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a bit of a subjective analysis. but I think you could do the math on that and prove it right that there are more dollar whales proportionately than crypto whales.
There's 2,000 wallets that own most of the crypto in Bitcoin. So there's 2,000 wallets that own most of it. So I mean that's pretty centralized.
Yeah. So and I know there are a lot of coins since then, and obviously Hex is an improvement on this. But my ultimate crypto fantasy, and I don't think this would be too expensive to actually create, but imagine if we created a crypto coin that was airdropped to every single human being on Earth through an iris scanning ATM. You walk up to the ATM, scan your iris, it gives you a QR code, you put it on your phone, wallet, whatever mechanism, and you get your airdrop initial whatever 100 iris coin. Someone's really already got something called the iris coin. We'd have to come up with something else, but you get the point, right? That it would actually Fight Club style level the debt record. It would be a complete reset on the monetary system, and anything less than that is going to unfairly favor early investors trying to impose a new monetary system on the world, and that's always going to be a limiting factor. What's Hex's answer to that?
But what's the difference? What's the difference of doing that than like what the U.S. government is doing, airdropping money on people? I mean, I think that's a horrible idea.
It would be, you get one drop per person ever. That's it.
That wouldn't work.
Wow.
I mean, that's not going to work.
Wow.
Oh, you need more.
How much would it cost to put a Bitcoin ATM within a day's drive of everybody on Earth? Not much. In the scale of what we're talking about, a few $10 million maybe. There are plenty of people in the cryptosphere who have the money to even make this happen if they wanted to. Why wouldn't it work? Really, mechanically, why could that not work? The main reason I see that not working is that you remove the incentive to if you say this new currency, we're going to create this system. It's going to cost us, $100 million to create the blockchain and the crypto and the system and the wallets and the software and the iris scanning ATMs. And we're going to make sure that it's secure and it dispenses to every human being on Earth one airdrop once, and that's it.
Someone's going to put a bug in there that you got to have a better iris to get more coins. What's going to happen?
The only thing that would be in the way of that, okay, fine, do thumbprints. I don't care.
But this is what ifism. This is like, what if grasshoppers have machine guns and birds?
No. This is a vision that combines current technology and a very important goal of taking down the unfair, unjustified concentrations of wealth and power in the world today. And maybe there's some. I think the only real limitation to making this realistic is that governments would get in the way. Governments would make it illegal. Right?
You're just never going to get consensus on something like that. I mean, that's like I said. It's like what if
one guy with $100 million to make it happen.
Well, get Elon on it. I don't see compliance. I don't. I'm like kind of a realist when it comes to a lot of stuff. I mean, we got governments, we got monetary systems, we got stuff that we do have to operate within. No matter how much we want to have our Shangri-Las, I mean, more power to. What's that?
That's what they said about slavery. But without slaves, who's going to pick the cotton? Society we can have. It is what it is. We're just operating within the current system. No, let me rephrase the question though, in a sort of easier way. What's Hex's vision or answer to the challenge of decentralizing, create a more, and I hate to say egalitarian because I'm not an egalitarian, but in some way that corrects the theft and the injustice and unfairness, the criminality of the current fiat currency systems we live with?
Well, because it's decentralized and it's decorrelated from the financial system. It is a crypto within crypto that is decorrelated from everything. We haven't seen Hex, move with the rest of the market like the rest of the market has moved. Hex has kind of beat to its own drum. So I mean, just historically in its last year and a few months that it's been around, we've already seen through its chart. I mean, you look at the chart and see that it's done its own thing. And as far as being decentralized, I think it's the most decentralized crypto in crypto right now. Now you mentioned the OA address or what you guys, everybody considers Richard owning, you know, all of these coins and this and that. But all we've ever seen now we've watched Hex with a microscope. Those of us who are invested in it, those of us who are promoting it, those of us who have dissected it and watched hours and hours of video and watched it launch and watched it work and watched it do its thing. We've seen what this originating address does, and all it has ever done is protect the staking class and protect the product of Hex. And by doing so, it's increased its value. And it continues to increase its value. And the more it acts as a good actor, just like a Bill Gates has acted on his holdings of his stock, just like Warren Buffett acts as a good actor of the ownings of his stock. Like everything in the world, there is some centralization. Just like your place that you have out there, you're the king, man. You're going to be the king of that place.
Centralization is not the enemy; it's just forced centralization.
And it's like. And my argument for like the U.S. is it's not bad government that's your problem. I mean, it's not government that's your problem. It's bad government that's your problem. And we just haven't ever seen or had good government. I mean, like you said, from history all the way back, we can call the founders like the baddest ass, greatest things in the world, but they weren't. They weren't then either. So we've always had just government getting worse and worse and worse. And we call them they now. And what it actually has turned out to is just human greed has been the ones that have enforced all of this shit. And those who want and have more want to continue to do that. And they've used the masses to fund that. And they've made our bad governments act in a way that have gone against us, the working class. And, so now we're at this place where people are saying, fuck it, I'm getting out of here. Or, fuck it, I'm going to go storm the Capitol and make my voice heard. And they're doing all this crazy stuff, because I think that we're at a point where people are kind of sick of it. And that's what we're seeing. But what do we really do? What are we really going to do? Are we all going to sit here and just stream and scream and yell and eat shit and bark at the moon? Or are we going to do things? And my hat's off to you because you're actually doing something. You're actually doing something. And whether it works and it can take mass adoption, I don't know. I don't think that the masses of people, I mean, I live in fucking Los Angeles, bro. I mean, there's millions of fucking people that are so far removed from what your vision is and what you're doing that you're never going to get consensus from all of this shit. I mean, they're going to, as soon as they get new tennis shoes, fucking rims and rent money, it's fucking on, man. They're good. Just give me my shit and let me go. I don't need Shangri-La, man. As long as the man keeps pumping me a little bit. And then guess what? Oh, they're going to come up with this New Deal thing and they're going to put jobs out there. They're going to make infrastructure bills. They're going to throw more money at it. They're going to go to fucking Mars and they're going to throw more money at it. And everybody's going to be happy. And Shangri-La is going to be back in force in the masses again. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to fucking hopium and lull them all back to sleep like the fucking frog. And that's what's going to happen. And then it's going to be business as usual. And then they can go after the tranches of money again later.
Well, if only one heart and one mind at a time, and by slowly setting the better example, the best way we can.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Humanity marches on. Now, I am not sold that Hex is going to be the one that displaces all fiat and causes the flippening. But I am convinced that you're a contender, that Hex is a legit operation, and that it's not, it's not just a Bitcoin clone with better branding, which has been a lot of the scammery we've seen in the crypto space. So I hope that it is, because hey, if it succeeds, you'll take care of me at that point, right?
Well, it's a penny right now, bro. Hopefully next time we talk, it's not some crazy amount. You go, fuck RG, man. I missed the boat again. I should have bought the Bitcoin back when I first started this shit, and I didn't listen to my financial advice. And now that damn pirate, he told me, fuck, it's under a penny. Get a little bit and put it away, and I didn't do it. But I'm telling you, get a little bit, put it away, try it out, check it out yourself, and you're gonna be glad you did.
I'll make you a bet right now, all right? Because if and to secure the bet, you just have to give me $1,000 worth of Hex, and if Hex takes off, and that 1,000, I'll hold it till it gets to be worth $1 million, and then I'll give you a half. Okay. But if it doesn't and it goes to zero, man, my word.
So either way, it's costing me either $1,000 or $500,000, right?
Hey man, you can make $500,000. Just saying. Just saying. All right, brother. I do have to go, but it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate this.
Thanks for coming, bro. It was a good fucking time, man. You know, bring me on your place sometime, man. It would be awesome.
Make it happen. All right. Peace and love, y'all.
Have a good one. We appreciate you. Take care.